What's going on, YouTube fam? This your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of Hood Tales, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. Definitely watch this video to the end to hear the full story and all the details in the case. For all the day one fam, welcome back. Y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Now, it's a lot of information in this story, so y'all keep up with me. Let's get right into it. The struggle. That's what builds character in a person. Coming from the bottom, trying to find a way out. A lot of people do not make it past this stage in life, unfortunately. Whether they fall victim to their environment or fall victim to trying to make money to get out their situation and end up in prison. But for the ones blessed enough to see the other side and to come up, that can be a great feeling. Finally being able to find a way out and going with your best move to get to that next level in life. But everybody might not want to see you elevate. Jealousy and envy starts coming from the same people that watch you struggle for everything you got. And sometimes a person might feel like they deserve that come up and not you, and things get crazy. Especially when you make a new chapter in your life. You might settle down, have kids, get married. You could have been a savage in the past, but now you are real vulnerable and have a lot to lose. And the sharks and wolves know that. And you go from being motivation to people when you are on your come up to now being food. They don't remember what you went through to get to that point. They just know you got it and they want it. And on this episode of Hood Tales, we will be taking it to Minneapolis, Minnesota to discuss the case of a young real estate agent and mother of two that lost her life over a past beef and hit for hire attempt on her boyfriend, who was a rapper. According to sources, back in 2019, a young lady, just 28 years old at the time, named Monique Ball, had it all, working as a real estate agent for a prestigious group that sold homes in the Twin Cities. The bright-eyed young lady was making a name for herself, and not only her. At the time, her boyfriend and father to her 2 children was an up-and-coming rapper named John Mitchell, aka Momo. Momo was making big moves in the music industry, elevating, doing songs with some heavy hitters in the game, including the late Nipsey Hussle before he passed away. And eventually, Momo would get a record deal and show the fruits of his labor on social media. With him and Monique getting a home for their family in Minneapolis, the two seemed like a modern day power couple and success story, making something out of nothing. But let's rewind a little bit a few years back. While on the come up, Momo was a part of another up and coming label called Black Bag Entertainment. The concept of the label was for people from the trenches to follow their dreams, so they won't end up in a body bag or black bag or being a statistic. Also, another motive behind the name was black entrepreneurs in a bag getting money. One of the co-founders of the label was said to be a man originally from Gary, Indiana, named Lyndon Wiggins, who also went by the name Black Bag LA and was a rapper as well. LA stated in a magazine, being the middle child of 5 children, the family eventually moved to Minnesota. And while adapting to his new environment, LA would get into a little trouble after his grandmother passed away and was sent to prison, where he focused on his passion, rap at the time. Fast forward, once he returned to the streets, LA linked up with other people with the same mindset in 2008 and started investing his money in clubs, real estate, and other ventures. He hustled for 8 years before the housing market crashed, causing him to turn back to the music game and meeting fellow Minnesota native and up-and-coming rapper Momo. The two clicked and worked together to navigate the industry. But by 2019, the bond was broke. As Momo kept going through the music industry on his own, no longer with the label, and LA being accused of drug charges and building his empire off dirty money from grass to Fent, the businessman eventually went back to prison. After being investigated, he was sentenced to 19 years in the feds. And according to sources, this is when a plan came into motion to go get at Momo for reasons some speculate due to the up-and-coming rapper stealing music before leaving the label, but some say it was over the rapper's new life and come up signing a new deal. But others say street situations that I won't get into because it's all speculations. But for whatever reasons, while behind the wall, some calls were made to the streets, allegedly to a man named Cedric Barry, a known figure in the Minnesota streets. Eventually, other associates and even relatives became part of the plan, including a woman who was a local probation officer named Elsa Segura. Cedric's brother-in-law, Barry Davis, and Cedric's wife, Shantae Davis, who is also Barry's sister, an elaborate scheme will go in motion as Monique focused on being a mother and up-and-coming realtor in the area. She was just working, trying to make a way for her family. Momo was still making connections in the music industry, but little did they both know, danger was heading their way in a major way. Monique kept receiving calls from a woman who was asking to view her home for sale. The woman referred to herself as Lisa. Monique was confused of how the woman got her number at all and chucked it up to her profession. The woman would keep calling, but Monique had a strange feeling. But she decided to set up a date to show the home anyway. Then on New Year's Eve, 2019, the young lady headed to show the home in the Maple Grove area of Minnesota. It was around 3 o'clock p.m. As she pulled up and waited for the potential buyer, Monique got out the vehicle to open the home for viewing. That's when a U-Haul pulled up. 2 men hopped out with masks on, grabbed her, and put her in the back. Soon after, the U-Haul started driving, heading to a location to question Monique about the whereabouts of her children's father and boyfriend, Momo. It was later stated the young lady was tortured for information and tied up for over 3 hours. The men continued to do damage to the woman before one of the men headed to the family's home in the 4800 block of Humboldt Avenue North. It was around 5:45 p.m. Momo was home with his 2 daughters, ages 1 and 3 at the time, when someone entered the home using a key. Not thinking anything about it, he stayed put, thinking it was Monique just coming back from showing the home, until a man with a mask on and blick started shooting at him. The young father, concerned about his kids, quickly yelled out, "You got me," after being shot multiple times. "I'm gone. Just leave. Leave my kids, bro." Thinking the job was finished, the shooter left. But fortunately, even though hit multiple times, Momo survived the situation and his kids unharmed. People in the neighborhood called police for help. As police arrived to the home, they rushed the man to a local hospital. But with no motive or information, detectives had to wait. Then about 6:38 p.m., almost an hour later, 3 shots were fired in the alley on the 1300 block of Russell Avenue North. When police arrived to the scene, they found the young lady with her hands tied by tape, shot in the head and back, gone on the scene. She was later unfortunately identified as 28-year-old Monique. As police looked on the scene, they found 3 .45 caliber shell casings, and witnesses stated they saw a U-Haul in the area. Detectives also got a call later on from a homeowner in Maple Grove who lived right across the street from the home Monique was taking the person to the show. They got rain footage of the U-Haul and a tag number. Detectives started to get leads, and a hit on a young real estate agent and mother made headlines. Police visited a business and talked to a man who rented U-Hauls. He allegedly stated a woman called to rent the truck, and a man came to pick it up and paid him and product, smack. He identified the man as Cedric Barry. A few days later, Cedric was pulled over with 13 bags of smack in the car and took into custody. Other information was given to detectives, including the number who kept calling Monique for the home viewing. It was eventually traced by voice to the young probation officer, Elsa. She was accused of being in a relationship with Lyndon, or L.A., and the one who called to lure Monique to the home. She was picked up and charged with aiding and abetting premeditated first-degree hit. Cedric was charged with kidnapping, first-degree hit, and attempted hit. A few months later, Barry Davis, who was on the run, was arrested in Chicago and charged with the same charges as his brother-in-law Cedric. Barry's sister and Cedric's wife, Shantae Davis, was also charged with renting hotel rooms and helping with the U-Haul rentals and aiding an offender and being an accomplice after the fact as well. As the case started to make it to trial, it was complicated. Momo stated he felt there was a robbery attempt because of his flashing money on social media. He also stated he did everything to keep his kids and Monique safe and didn't know anybody knew where they lived at. In all, 5 people were charged, including LA for being the alleged mastermind behind the murder for hire plot behind the wall. Monique's family was devastated, especially her mother, in which that was her only child, who she watched go out here grind and make a way for herself and family. As she spoke to the people charged, she wanted to know why and what did Monique do wrong. She stated, "I know my daughter asked multiple times for you all to let her go, and why would you shoot her?" She also stated the effect it had on her grandkids, as the oldest stating she didn't want to live anymore. She asked what's going on, what's wrong. She stated, "I want to be with my mommy." Cedric and Barry were sentenced. First, Cedric spoke out, stating he felt like he was innocent, but he never said sorry before, but he was sorry for the family's loss. And he was basically getting convicted because of his past and fingerprints on tape found on Monique's body. The judge wasn't trying to hear it and sentenced both men to life plus 20 years in prison. Elsa, who sat on trial with no emotion as Monique's mother spoke to her, was also sentenced to life in prison for her role. As people stated, she could have stopped the whole situation when she was calling Monique and told her what was going on. LA, who was already in the feds, received a life sentence for being the alleged mastermind behind the situation. Shantae pled guilty to her charges and is set for sentencing next year. Momo is still following his dreams and making moves in the tech investments and music industry. Rest in peace to Monique. I send my deepest prayers and condolences to her family and daughters. This just goes to show you can be doing all the right things in life, but the hate be real. I'm not sure why LA had it out for Momo and his family. It could have been he wanted his spot or issues between the two. But it be the ones that watch you struggle to come up, and once you make it, they feel like you owe them something or everything. But this definitely seems like one of them situations that goes real deep. But either way, the young lady should have not lost her life at all. More of this story, watch who is watching you on your come up and your journey. Everybody is not for you or don't want to see you win, even if they did watch you come from the bottom. So remember, we gotta succeed, not to fail, so we won't be just another hood tale. Man, crazy situation, crazy story. Rest in peace to Monique. I send my prayers to her family, and Momo as well, because bro's still out here. He got to deal with that. They hit him up in front of his kids. You know how that be, man. But yeah, y'all heard the story. Leave it in the comments. Definitely be respectful. This is another episode of Hood Tales. This your boy Tony 2 times. Love, fam. I'm out.